Hey guys, it's Mrs. Lamb breaking down the anthology story for you for this week for Unit 5, Week 4. When is a planet not a planet? The story of Pluto. Once again, the essential question is how can scientific knowledge change over time? And I'm sure that you guys know when kind of information about this and how Pluto no longer is considered to be a planet. And this story is going to kind of explain to you what the definition of a planet is and how they came to define Pluto. So, you guys, this is great that this story is going around. You're reading this story at the same time that you're studying the planets with Mrs. Sweet. So, this will kind of help. I would definitely suggest listening to the story a few times. I'm sure that she has had you guys talk about or have you guys create this acronym. My very eager mother just served us 9 pizzas is what we had to memorize when I was in school. But Mrs. Sweet is having you guys do my very eager mother just served us nachos because Pluto is no longer considered a planet. So the first part of the story kind of just talks about what the planets or what the problem came to be and what makes a planet, and how we divide up those planets. And hopefully by now in science, you've already talked about the difference between the planets. The fact that Mars, Venus, Earth, and Mercury are made of solid rock and solid dirt. So let me kind of highlight that those are made of a mix of rocks, dirt, and minerals. The planets that are farthest away, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, don't have a solid surface. So they're made of gas and they have a rocky core. Well, back in the day, it was believed that Pluto also was made of gas. And here's where the problem came to be is the fact that as we got better technology, cameras, telescopes, we found out that Pluto had a core. Because it was so far away, we didn't have a good picture. So that's kind of how the scientists came to believe, like, there's maybe Pluto doesn't fit into this definition of what a planet is. So the story goes on to tell you and talk about how many scientists first believe how the sun was formed. And they believed that the solar system was started as a nebula. And there is a lot of technical terms in here. Just follow along. You need to know what's the main difference between the planets in our solar system and the fact of how our solar system was started with what is believed to be a nebula. And then they take it a little bit further. The fact that they also found out that Pluto had this rocky surface, so then it didn't fit into the category of being a gas planet. It's got a rocky core, so it doesn't fit. That would make it a terrestrial planet. So they were some kind of further concern. So you're going to kind of study the history and hear about the history of what they did to kind of explore and kind of differentiate it. They're going to talk about the fact of what like the Earth is the core. They're the core of the Earth and the crust of the mantle, and they're going to walk you through that. They're also going to tell you about, and you should know this already, that we believe our planets orbit in a circular fashion. Well, they came to find out as they did more research that Pluto's orbit was kind of more oblong, and at some point it crosses into Neptune, which kind of broke up or kind of didn't fit the definition of what would make it a planet. So you're starting to see kind of the problems with classifying Pluto as a planet. So that oblong shape or orbit kind of negated it from being a planet as well. They're going to talk about how they found the different observations that they've done to find more information about the planets and what makes a planet. Here's the definition that you need to know. And they take it actually a little bit further and kind of start to explain to you that even though Pluto's not considered to be a planet anymore, it's now considered to be what is a dwarf planet. And I think I went too far for where you need to find out information about the dwarf planet. Here we go. Yeah. So if you want some more information about kind of where Pluto falls in there, here's information about the dwarf planet. So yes, there's a lot of technical terms in here, but if you take your time, stop and think what you already know about the planets and what you've learned in science, and listen to the story a few times, I think you'll be good to go to take the reading selection assessment later in the week.